Greetings, Commanders! Today I need your help. All of you illustrious Station 22 members, all of you super high-level players that really decide the meta for us. Hello. Want to say hi to you guys. This is mostly for you guys. Of course, if you're not a super high, 100 million player and you're watching this video, welcome. This is going to be a bit of a discussion video. I need feedback, right? Part of what I do on the channel is I make content for the players of this game, and that means from all ranges, right? From high level to the bottom. And what I want to do is I want to go down this Walker journey. Walker Week on the Arc of War channel was so much fun. I am getting serious about playing a Walker for the next couple of months, maybe longer. I don't know yet. I am going down the Research Lab infantry path, so I will end up back on infantry eventually. But until then, I have unlocked Eye of Greed. And for those of you that watched the Evolving Tier 11 to Tier 12 video, you'll know that I ran out of speed ups, and then I remembered that I can just ask my guildmates for it. And I didn't need many speed ups, but my dude Elevation sent me over like 100 24-hour speed ups like instantly. So way to be a team player, Elevation. Appreciate you, man. But yeah, remember, if you run out of speed ups for stuff like this, your guildmates can help you as long as they're the same level. All right, guys. So all of you high-level players. Oh, and there's JDB sending me stuff. JDB's my dude, man. Love you, JDB. Okay, for all you high-level players, I need your feedback. Here's kind of where I'm at. I'm 130 million arc. My gear is not great. Here's what I've got for damage gear, right? This is my Plasma's gear, double Titans. My my Stella's gear, excuse me, level 30 gear, nothing really higher. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have a bunch of bots I've been saving because my Bullets gear was really what I was pouring all my melange into and not really spending on that. I was mostly spending on leadership events. So I have the potential to put a bunch of bots into gear, and the next upgrade item event I could really go for it, but I have all the basic stuff. What I don't have is, and I've got a good Valkyrie, I've got a good Shadow. What I don't have is these yet, and I don't think I'm going to be picking up the Natural Whisperer because I'm going to be going back to infantry eventually, and I'm only going to be able to get one this season, or one this event, so probably Wrath of the Stars. So I probably won't be using that. Although I could use this on a Walker Commander with my Tier 11 troops, right? So total damage reduction and HP. So, I mean, I could go down the road of like an Elf build or... I mean, that's really it. Elf is like the real tank build in Walker right now. And you kind of build her like Rogers. So something like this. This would be my Elf build, but I'll be honest, the more I've thought about this, the more I talked in the last video, I don't think this is a good playstyle for me. I simply don't have the research. I don't have the mastery. That's the next research after Tier 11 is mastery, and it's huge. If you don't have it and you don't know about it, players that are Tier 11 and a half are much more powerful than Tier 11 by itself. That research mastery is huge. So I don't have that mastery yet. I'm going to have some. As far as pants are concerned, you know what? I do have the Invincible. I probably would use that. Deranged would say to use that. But pants-wise, I do have a decent Fearless that's ready to rock. So I could go tank there. It's not Tier 12, so I'm not getting any benefit out of getting hit by Terror Space or getting more damage from the HP out of Terror Space. Not yet. Like I said, I'll have Tier 12 eventually, but it's going to be infantry. So I won't be wanting to use this on Elf in the long term if I did go that way. So probably wouldn't be using Fearless on this one either. Probably Fabrication. Jeez. And then as far as the helmet would be concerned, I could go with the Valkyrie. I've got a great Valkyrie there. Or if I really wanted to go Glass Cannon, which is I'm kind of leaning towards, I could go with Eye of Abyss. All this gear is pretty much unclaimed. It's kind of just auxiliary gear I've thrown around. So I can claim any of my other commander's gear for my new main commander. And I can go Devastation Helmet too. But I'm thinking if I go with a commander that doesn't have as much guaranteed hit, I might choose the Eye of Abyss. Definitely if I went full metal, I'd go with that. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking with the Elf build. I can kind of go with Roger's gear, get double EBs on her, really rely on that Blessing and Curse, use the infantry's dodge on Eye of Greed, which is really good. But, the more I think about it, I have to take high risks with Elf, right? I have to fully march. That's how you get damage out of the Curse. You got to full march, more troops trigger it. I mean, I could do high tier in the front, low tier in the back for less risk, but I think mostly I'm going to be a Galactic Battle player now anyway, which I mostly am anyway. I don't really use Bullet too much on my server. I'm not expecting to hit high tier. So I'm not totally against the tank build, but I think as a smaller Tier 11 coming up Tier 12 player, it would be totally pointless for me to have Elf going into a Galactic Battle against the top 32 guilds, where anyone in the top 32's main commander would just decimate me in possibly one shot. And I don't have any one-slot bust potential with this elf build, so I'm not really loving that. I'm not loving that. And then, of course, the next line of thought would be like, okay, if you don't want to go tank build, do you want to go glass cannon one-slot bust? Do you want to go balance meta with someone like Galileo? Or do you want to go ignore tier suppression again, right? I could go rock. I could put all my leadership into rock and run rock exactly like I run my bullet. But the whole point of getting rid of bullet was so that I could do a different playstyle for a while, really explore something different. What people don't realize about my channel and the way I play this game is, as most of you high-level players know, you guys don't play like me. My game has very much been oriented the last year around bullet and how I'm going to score points to give my team a lead in the kickoff of a galactic battle, and I let the big spenders, big players, carry the weight of the guild on their shoulders. I'm just the one who gives them the kickoff. After the battle's going, I'm still messing around with my bullet, trying to hit ships and maybe clearing with small marches, utility marches here and there, but I don't get into the big fights. I don't really full march my tier 10. I never really have had to. With bullet and Rogers I do, but they are less than 10,000 leadership. So I'm changing my playstyle entirely. And I want to be able to be useful in a lot of situations. Now, I know going one slot bust with, say, Moonshadow will give me the potential to score against high-level players. Now, if I put all my troops in slot 1, if I don't kill their slot entirely, which on airships I won't, then I'm probably going to get destroyed on the Riposte strike because I'm only going to have about 500,000 leadership. So I'd have to put troops in, say, slot 3, and that way if an awakening went off, it would kill my slot 2. Hopefully my slot 3 would dodge. My slot 2, I would intentionally put something that would get hit by an awakening. So here's what I'm thinking, right? So if I'm attacking into somebody or defending even, what I would do is I would go, Ranger there, Yeti or Ranger there, right? And then all my Transcenders here. That way, if I got first strike, I would lose, right? I would hit nothing, or I'd hit a big slot. Ranger would hit the big slot, and then their big slot would go. Hopefully, hit an awakening, right? If it's an airship, it'll probably hit 1 and 2, or slot number 2, no problem. I want it to do that, and then it should. I hopefully will dodge in my slot 3. Now, if they're tier 12 and I'm tier 11, there's like a 50% chance they're gonna hit me anyway. So hopefully, I'll stack a little extra dodge and help my chances. But then with this slot being dead, my slot 2 being slid, my slot 3 will attack, and I'll get that 1 slot bust, and I'll kill whatever I can. Maybe I'll hit an awakening, blow a bunch of troops up, and then their slot 2 will go, assuming I don't kill them all, which I shouldn't, and then they'll kill me without ever having a chance to directly strike my 3rd slot. That's how I would play it. Now, if it was a Walker commander and I knew they were much bigger than me, I would do the same formation, except I would do this. So this would be the new saved formation. That way, when their Walker commander triggers their awakening, they'll kill all the front row, and then actually no, wouldn't it be like this? It would be like this. So they would kill my entire front row. So I'm defending, I attack with a Ranger, they reply, they attack, and they hit an awakening. As long as it's not an infantry, I'll be good. If it's an airship, they will blow up the whole area. If it's a Walker, they'll blow up the front row, and then I'll go next. I'll always go next. If it's an infantry commander, they would hit the front row and the back row, and then I'm in trouble. But that's kind of the way I got to play it. This would be for against Walkers, and then against Walkers and against potentially against airships. I could go here or I could go there. I wouldn't even put troops there. I'd want to intentionally lose on the second turn, right? So if they hit the awakening and my slot 2 died, if they hit the awakening and my slot 1 got killed and the whole front row got killed from the Walker airship awakening, then their slot 2 would kill me the next turn. But of course, I'd get my first strike off with my Eye of Breed. Now, if for whatever reason they didn't hit the awakening, I got unlucky, then my slot 2 would go, and then their slot 2 would go, hopefully hit the awakening that time, and at that point, then I would have my 3rd slot attack, and I do my 1 slot bust, and then their 3rd slot, there would be nothing here to block, and they would just shoot and kill me. That would be ideal. If I got unlucky again, and they on the second awakening, which is possible, 40% chance, 40% chance, 1 in 20, that's going to happen. Yeah, 1 in 20, that is going to happen. So, I'll be prepared for it. Hopefully I'll dodge it. They have to hit a guaranteed hit sometimes if I'm running. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I could still run tier 11 with a 1-slot bust meta, and I'm thinking that would be good for me. I think I would enjoy that play style. I know I'm going to get caught a few times. Not as low risk as Bullet, but it's not as high risk as Elf. So the question is, if I'm going to go 1-slot bust, which definitely seems the way I'm aiming, do you think that's a good choice? The reason I'm making this video is I want your feedback. I can just choose a commander and just do what I want and go that way. But I really do want your guys' feedback. You guys have been high-level players with high tier for much longer than me. You know what gear I have. You know what kind of guild I have. I have 2 tier 12 players, an airship, and an infantry in my guild at 300 million power. What do you think would be best? Galileo, I think, obviously isn't going to do anything in fair fights. Against Elf, he would lose. He just doesn't have the damage. And against tier 12, he's always going to lose. I don't like anything he's really offering right now. So I think Galileo's just got to walk. I either got to commit to a full tank build and only pick fights I can win, which makes me useless in the playoffs of the Galactic Battle, which are coming up, which I want to participate in, which is like my favorite thing to do. So I could go with Moonshadow. Now, the other thing I could do, which I've thought about, is I could go Medusa. Now, Medusa is one of the Awaken, or the Never Sleep commanders, right? It goes Vega's the best B commander that's always awoken. Then you have Nekajiro, who's the next big up-and-coming star with, you know, his B or in D-class ability, but he's always awakened for cheap as well. And then Medusa, B commander, just like Vega, can be awakened as well. You can run Crit Wither for 600% Crit Wither, so your opponents can never crit you. But I would probably use it for the dodge, just so that whoever's attacking me, even with my tier 11, if they're tier 12, they have to land a guaranteed hit, or pretty darn near close to it. I think there's like a built-in guaranteed 40 or 50% chance to hit someone lower tier than you by 1 level. So no matter how much dodge you have, if someone's tier 3 and you have tier 1, you can never dodge them. But I don't know how exactly that works on tier 12 versus tier 11. I'm sure I'll find out soon if I do this. But what's great about Medusa is she's got so much guaranteed hit. You know, she has hit for all of her troops at a 40% chance. All of them get buffed and they will land a hit. The only thing she has to worry about is, like, you know, someone debuffing her, which is like full metal, which is fine. We're still going to do okay against full metal. There's not that many full metals out there anyway. And then there's Full Metal Jacket, 20% chance, just guaranteed hit and damage increase. It's kind of like Chief's Rampage ability, nothing spectacular, but just a hit with some damage. Nothing wrong with that, but it's only 20%. So she's just solid for hits, guaranteed hits. But remember, the sonar does not work on Awakening. Awakening can miss even if you have sonar and Full Metal Jacket on, I believe. I'm pretty sure it should. So I like the idea of Medusa. I don't like the idea of having to awaken every day, but I will admit I have a ton of Walker Awaken tokens, so that would be a good time to like just experiment with the Never Sleep builds. And just use Medusa on the mainstream stage, you know, and then I'd get my damage from Leo and Taurus in the gear. I mean, of course, I'd be getting rid of that gear eventually, so I'd have to destroy it. But, yeah, I got 225 Derudium Waters, 297 Seeds of Elf. You can tell how many times I awakened my bullet. Not many times. And then 323 Cinnabar. So I've got plenty of Awaken. I could run Awaken for a long time. Not to mention I've got hundreds of those tokens. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, I will admit I don't like Moonshadow as much as I like Pictor. So let's bench Rock, let's bench Galileo. Let's not take them seriously. Let's get down to the guaranteed hit commanders, and I'll kind of get your guys' opinion on it. The final say. Now, I'll throw Hoodoo in there, but I definitely don't like him as much as I like Pictor as an offering. Let me grab Pictor too, but he's A class. I got a long way to go. Drop Elf. Okay. Any other Walker Commander honorable mentions? No, definitely not Kakarot. I mean Chief, but I don't have him. I absorbed him recently. So there's that. All right, so that's the lineup. Now, Full Metal is an option. I didn't even talk about Full Metal. Oops. Full Metal would be the option to run into Walker Commander, or to Rogers. Rogers gets wrecked by Full Metal. If you're Full Metal, just put a Virgo gem on, so you lower attack damage by 100%, and then you just Steam Cannon to take away his defense, a defensive stack, so Rogers can't go immune, and he doesn't have any damage, so he can't hit you, and you basically just stomp Rogers into the ground. It's actually hilarious. But I think it's not like a secret anymore. This build's been out for over a month. No one's really doing it, but also a lot of Roger mains are just playing Vega now, so you're not going to see that many Rogers out there. They're out there. They're definitely out there. I think there were some fears of him getting nerfed or Vega getting nerfed, so people stuck with Rogers. But I don't know. The thing about Full Metal is he has like a 33% skill that's like an infantry awakening, just hits the slot behind really hard. And then his 60% skill removes his enemy dodge, crit, and takes away their buff. So he doesn't have a guaranteed hit, but he does help lower their dodge, and he has a little damage mitigation by lowering their crit. So I don't hate Full Metal. I kind of like secretly want to do this build just so I could find a Rogers and just wreck him hard. But, you know, in all the other matchups, I don't love him. I don't love him against any of the other Walker commanders, including Pictor and Elf. I don't love him against any of the infantry commanders like Plasma. He can debuff Plasma's Riposte Strike, but that's not enough. He's not going to be able to debuff Stella. She doesn't really buff herself. She mostly debuffs you. That's the main concern. That's where those the new Cassiopeia gem comes in to protect yourself from infantry. God, if you run Cassiopeia against infantry, they just can't hurt you. No Ares, no Virgo, no Dizzy. Oof. And then of course Airship's Full Metal is going to be weak against everyone except Rogers. So not loving Full Metal for that. So for the choices of what we really have is Medusa for a Weird Awaken build, or Moonshadow, Hoodoo, or Pictor. God, wouldn't that be a fun main? I think that'd be really good. And you know, a lot of commanders do buff themselves. You know, and so when her guaranteed hit is when the opponent has buffed, it hits 50% harder. So it's guaranteed hit, increases damage. But if they're buffed, she gets even more bonus damage. So it's better than Medusa's skill, and it has 20% more chance to strike. And I don't know how that damage scales. It says damage, not increases attack, so pretty sure it's just like Chief and Medusa. And the reason I say it like that is, remember, Golem's plus damage on his crush says bonus to attack, not bonus to damage. It is slightly different. The math is calculated differently. And then she has a 20% skill, deal damage to target directly. It's a true strike, but it can miss. It says it's certain to hit. Wait, maybe that one's certain to hit? One of these is not a guaranteed hit. Huh, we need to double check that. I remember doing the Moonshadow breakdown videos a while back, and she definitely was broken in that regard. So maybe I'll revisit that. But like I said, the problem with Moonshadow, A commander, I'd rather have Pictor. He's more of explosive fun on the front line, especially because I'll be playing Eye of Greed. So I think maybe she's an option. Let's see how close I am to Pictor, and then I'll just kind of resort to you guys. Yeah, I got 240 to go, and it's a non-Pictor event. I don't have any Pictor tokens. So those are my options. I can go Hoodoo, but not having a guaranteed hit, not against Vegas, not against that 1,200 or 600% dodge. I want to be able to do something against Vega. I'm thinking Moonshadow. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. I really... Whoa, thank you. Thank you, JDB. All right, back to Evolving Troops. Let me know what you think, guys. Appreciate it. Let me give me some feedback. Make a nice long comment. Read someone else's long comment. Upvote the good comments. I'll super like the best ones. But this is a big deal. I plan on making this decision soon. Hopefully before our playoff game next week. Hopefully this comes out this weekend, or I don't know. All right, guys. Thanks for everything. I appreciate your feedback. Let me know if I miss anything. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. Cue the outro.